It's time for the Royal Rumble. The 2026 Royal Rumble is tomorrow night. Nobody told WWE, but it is, because we have had and gone through the single worst build for the Royal Rumble in history. I don't think I say that with any kind of hyperbole behind it. It's true. It's just this has been incredibly, just embarrassingly promoted. So I'll do that for WWE at my own expense, and I'll do it for free because they don't know how, or more likely they just didn't make it a priority for the Royal Rumble tomorrow night. Their second biggest PLE of the year. Let's just hope it's not a trend moving forward. I mean, they can't do this to WrestleMania, can they? We'll see. So we'll go through the matches and go through what I think could happen. And really, I mean, there's not a lot of matches, as is the case normally with the Rumble. And there are, I think, 4 matches we have. Don't forget, since it's in Riyadh, if you're on the East Coast, it starts at 2 o'clock tomorrow. If you're on the West Coast, it's 11 a.m. So quite a weird time. This strangeness for us in North America continues of these PLE times. Of course, if you're overseas, you're loving it. But it's very, very odd here where it starts in the afternoon. And you're like, wait, what? It's always 7 o'clock Eastern time, you know? So nonetheless, if you want to have a fun afternoon here on the East Coast, if you're in that time zone, you got a fun time tomorrow, because the Royal Rumble should provide, I think, a very entertaining show. I do. And my concern is, though, that Triple H has said it's going to be epic. We've heard that before. Triple H's definition of epic varies greatly from mine. When I hear epic, epic is as big of a word as you can really use. And his definition of epic that I've seen before has been just very, very mediocre. So I know he's there to try to hype things up. And what else is he gonna say? You know, he can't be like, well, you know, this year's Rumble, it doesn't have as many surprises probably as fans would want, or, you know, as in years past, but we're going to do our best. You know, he can't give you the truth. He has to sell it. Like, every WrestleMania is the biggest WrestleMania. You hear that every year. Every year. Every WrestleMania is the biggest WrestleMania, even though that's not true. Maybe from a gate perspective, because they love to tell us how much money they've made off of us. But, hey, all right. So we're going to go through the Royal Rumble. We'll get to the Royal Rumble matches in a minute and go through that piece by piece. But we have an invitation for you, because if you want to go to an ad-free experience and you don't like what you've heard with the ads in the show, you can get rid of them at Patreon, at patreon.com/WWE podcast. You can also go over to Spotify. There's an ad-free feed there. And on Apple, they all provide ad-free experiences. Just click that subscribe button, guys, right there. I promise you. I'd like to welcome, though, some new people. Ashish, I think, is, maybe I got that wrong, but thank you for joining us on Patreon. Alrighty, so let's get into it, and let's go to the first match, which, let's see here, I had it up. It is the career versus title. AJ Styles versus Gunther, and if Styles lose, he must retire. I should have said title. It's career. It's the career match. AI is just stupid. They have it as career versus title. No, it's not. But really, what's on the line here is AJ Styles' career. And is there a chance he loses? Yeah, there's a chance. It's a weird dynamic, because they are clearly trying to build Gunther's legacy around career killing. That's his thing. And if this wasn't at the beginning of WrestleMania season, this seems like a lock that AJ Styles would lose to Gunther here. And Gunther, I don't think can lose here. Can he? Because they just had him beat John Cena in his retirement match. They just had him win. He's been on a roll. And then AJ Styles, as we all know, is on his way out of wrestling. We just don't know when that final day will be. So, you know, you can't have AJ Styles, who's on his way out, beat the guy that just beat John Cena, one of the biggest names in wrestling history. So that would really, I think, stifle the momentum of Gunther. Even though, as great as AJ Styles is, he's on his way out, and you're also trying to continue the momentum with Gunther, it would make no sense to have AJ just beat Gunther. It wouldn't. So I really do believe Gunther wins here. And why AJ Styles is deciding to, if this happens, to have his career end before WrestleMania is a bit of a weird time. You know, I mean, everyone's got their own personal decisions, but perhaps WWE said to AJ, "Hey, listen, you know, look, we don't have a whole lot of plans for you at WrestleMania," and they decided okay, and he decided okay, so let's end it here. That's possible. So while most people are predicting that AJ is going to win to retain his career, I think it would do much more for Gunther if he were able to retire AJ Styles here. And what is going to be I think an excellent matchup. The styles work, no pun intended, work very well together. They have great chemistry, as these guys have with pretty much everybody. I think it's going to be 18, 19, 20 minutes. It should be anyway, with a lot of close near falls, as you'd expect. And I mean, but can you see the Styles Clash being applied to Gunther? There's just no way, right? The physics aren't there. We'll see, but it does create an inherently higher risk with a guy like Gunther trying to take a Styles Clash. So I think this is going to be a good match. Really, really good match. I'd be very, very shocked if it's nothing less than a 4 out of 5 stars. If it's anything less, I'd be very, very surprised. So I do expect Gunther to win here. I know the timing's weird, that it's right before WrestleMania, not at WrestleMania. I get it. The only other way that this does end, in a weird finish, is if somebody interferes, right? Gunther has him on the ropes, or AJ Styles is about to win, and somebody attacks AJ Styles, right? Like, that's the only way that AJ Styles and doesn't end his career, and also doesn't have Gunther lose. So you have some interference. I think that seems a little bit more likely. But what you can't have is Gunther lose here clean. You can't have that happen. Now, you may say, well, what if they interfere? Somebody attacks Gunther or attacks AJ, and AJ Styles wins, I guess, by DQ. Then, yeah, I mean, if we're going to go that road, then AJ Styles wins by protecting Gunther, not having him lose to AJ, and AJ keeps his career. So there you go. I was going to predict Gunther outright winning, which I would do, but if you're going to have AJ continue, here's my official prediction. AJ Styles wins by disqualification, either by interference or Gunther doing something to AJ Styles that causes a DQ. He gets caught, or he purposefully does it just to inflict pain. Maybe that's the road they go. So there you go. That's my finish. I think that makes much more sense. It kind of... two birds, right? I think that's the idea here. AJ continues his career. Gunther is protected, and he doesn't lose, and I think everybody wins. So Gunther loses by disqualification. So let's go to the Undisputed Championship. Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn. Drew wins, or retains. However, you could say he still loses and retains. That's possible with disqualification or no contest, whatever. But Drew McIntyre is and has to retain the championship here. Has to. There's just no other way. I was on the Sami Zayn boat for a while, and obviously the peak of it was at the Elimination Chamber several years ago when he should have beaten Roman Reigns for the championship and didn't do it. So Drew McIntyre retains. I think he retains, and Sami Zayn comes within an eyelash, as he always does, but doesn't win. And it could be because of outside interference. And the way that WWE books heels is they very rarely, if almost never, outside of Brock Lesnar, have the heels straight up beat the baby faces because they're just simply a bigger badass or they're smarter. Yeah, that's not the logic that they go with. There's very fundamental beliefs and attributes that heels have to have in WWE's version of wrestling, and that is, they can't outright beat the baby faces. The baby faces are always smarter, but sometimes the heels will look stupid, and the baby faces will outsmart them. So the heel can't be smarter, but they can do things to try to cheat to win, and that could be the case here, where Drew has, brass knucks or some foreign object to beat Sami Zayn. A low blow behind the ref's back, and then a Claymore, I think, is the most likely scenario. even though Drew should outright beat Sami Zayn, he shouldn't need any extra help to beat Sami Zayn. But the way WWE books heels, that's probably going to be the finish, is Drew doing something behind the ref's back, very, very deep into the match, and a low blow, rake of the eyes, a foreign object, and then a Claymore, and 1, 2, 3. Drew retains. That's how I think this goes. And he should, in what I think will be a good match. I don't think it's going to be one that we're talking about for years. If I was to guess, I think AJ Styles and Gunther is going to be a better, quote, quality match, or one that makes you on the edge of your seat more than Drew and Sami does, because you can make a case for really AJ or Gunther winning, as I kind of did, and I gave you my prediction that AJ does win via disqualification, but I think Drew McIntyre here has to retain. There's no scenario in which Sami Zayn's going to go into WrestleMania as champion. You can't do that, especially with Drew McIntyre, who just won the championship. Finally, long overdue, finally wins it, and then you're going to give it to Sami Zayn? You just can't. I understand there's a lot of Sami Zayn apologists out there, and those that feel for Sami and feel that he's also long overdue, and there's a case to be made, but the timing is horrible. The timing for Sami's horrible. Now, I said the timing for Drew to win the championship from Cody on SmackDown several weeks ago was bad timing, but they were doing that to deviate from Cody Roman 3, and I think they felt that the fans were coming back and giving backlash to the company before the match was even announced, because the fans got a heads up that that's what they're doing, and pretty much everybody's like, really, again? And they can go back to Roman Cody. I have no problem with that, but it can't be in the next, I would say, year. If they wanted to do it in an extra WrestleMania, I mean, that's cool too. That's certainly a possibility, and it would feel a little more fresh. But to do it this year would have been, I mean, that was the right call to, as they would say, pivot. And that's the reason. So the timing for Drew winning the title, while I said was not going to happen, and seems to always hurt him, it's very, very impossible. You can't have Sami win here. I think fans would be furious. It would also feel like they have no confidence in Drew off the get-go. It would hurt Drew immensely. And it wouldn't do much for Sami, who would, I think, really turn heel from that. I think fans would resent Sami Zayn for taking a championship away from Drew and pulling the rug out so quickly and not giving Drew's championship run a chance to even begin to live and see what it's about. So Drew wins here. If you didn't catch my prediction, Drew wins, or at least he retains, even if it's a disqualification, much like AJ and Gunther. You would hope they don't go with 2 DQ finishes here. So Drew wins by some kind of underhanded low blow and then a Claymore. All right. The Women's Royal Rumble match. So we have, at least confirmed, is Io, Rhea, Liv, Roxanne, Raquel, Bayley, Asuka, Lyra, Kairi Sane. I do expect AJ Lee, not AJ Styles, but AJ Lee to be a part of this. Do I expect Trish Stratus? Yes. Do I expect Lita? 50-50. Some of the the good old timers that can still go. You might even throw Molly Holly in there just for good measure. She's been a part of it in the past. It's fun to see Molly Holly if she can take a quick bump and that kind of thing and then leave. So she's very possible. Obviously Charlotte, I think, and Alexa and Nia Jax and Lash Legend, they all should be a part of this. I mean, they just have to be. So pretty much everyone you can think of on SmackDown and Raw that's been on television in the last month is in the Royal Rumble. I don't need to go through the list here, but who wins is interesting. And who returns, I think, I've let the cat out of the bag a little early a few weeks ago. I think Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair comes back, huge reaction. She's going to win, and we're going to set up Bianca Belair versus Jade. Despite the fact that Jade has been, to say she's been underwhelming as champion would do a disservice. And I shouldn't say it's been horrible. Okay, maybe I'm over exaggerating. it's been underwhelming is probably the accurate statement. Underwhelming, not a disaster, but just cold. Not a lot of progress. She doesn't yet and hasn't yet connected on the mic. I've gone through that chapter and verse. Until she can do that, she's not going to progress. In ring, she has made some progress. In ring, she has, yes, improved since she came to WWE. I don't care about her physique anymore. I don't care what hair extensions she wants to wear or bodysuit she wants to wear to show off her curves. What it doesn't that's over. I'm not impressed by that anymore. You know, it's still impressive in and of itself. Just objectively, her physique is sculptable. I get it, but that's kind of gone by the wayside. Like, you can't lean on that anymore. You have to have substance now. There has to be something that fans can actually feel for beyond, wow, her physique is crazy. Oh, did you notice her physique is crazy? Do you see her muscles? Wow, look at it. Like, okay, got it. Great. You know, you're very marketable. I understand that, but now go and make the fans feel something, and she hasn't done that yet. But that all said, maybe Bianca Belair and Jade will finally, it could finally ignite Jade. Bianca is an A++ worker. You know that she can help Jade along the way. She's got a few months to prepare for WrestleMania. It would be a very, I think, WrestleMania worthy match. It's a match that right off the bat, when Jade joined, you're thinking, wow, wait till they get to that. Yeah, that'll be fun. Just from a visual perspective. I mean, if the match quality, of course, could vary greatly. But Jade and Bianca could go 12, 13 minutes at WrestleMania. I mean, I'm just pulling a number out of my ass, but that's kind of where I think I'd land. And anything beyond that, I think would really expose Jade, because you can only learn so much and polish yourself so much in a few months. And Jade's been here for a couple of years now, and she's been very, very slow to progress. So Bianca wins, big reaction, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. Do I expect Jordynne Grace? Yes, though, you know, those kind of participants. Any big surprises outside of like yesteryear's talent? Probably not, other than, again, Bianca Belair winning. All right, the Men's Royal Rumble. So who's confirmed? Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Gunther, Rey Mysterio, Penta, Dragon Lee, Jey Uso, Solo Sikoa, Braun Breaker, Logan Paul, all the vision, right? The whole vision. Javon Evans, Obafemi, and Brock Lesnar, who called in to, what was it, Pat McAfee's show. And Pat McAfee is on his way back to WWE too, now that football's over. So that'll be good to hear him back if you like Pat. So Brock Lesnar is going to be a part of it. It'll be interesting to see if, even though AJ and Gunther are having their match, if they still are participants in the Men's Royal Rumble. Something to think about. Maybe if Gunther loses that match by DQ, he's still in the Rumble, and him and Brock have a moment. We've been waiting for that to really, I mean, at least I think they did have a moment a couple of years ago, but to truly have that build to WrestleMania of Gunther versus Brock. And there's no title on the line, which also is much better. That the title, if Gunther was champion, it would make less sense, because then it would be very clear who's going to win. And also, Brock is rumored to be wrapping up his career for good this year as well. So Gunther, Brock, if you're going to do it, WrestleMania is a great time. Nobody's champion, which is what you want. They're both in a position where they don't have a path right now to WrestleMania yet. The only fly in the ointment is they're both heels. So what do? I guess you kind of let the crowd decide. That's what I would do. Just put them together. Let the crowd figure it out. Honestly, they want to cheer for Gunther. Let's do it. If they want to cheer for Brock, do that. Cool. Go with that too. Yeah, I don't think you really need to do one way or the other, because forcing it one way or the other may not work. You just let it happen. Just put them out there and see what happens with no agenda, and let the fans organically decide it. That way you don't choose wrong, you know, and try to position somebody in a position in a role that doesn't fit, and the crowd rejects it, and you got to change course and it looks weird. Just let the crowd decide. I remember they did that about this is going back 25 years with Kurt Angle and Triple H, when both were heels, and Stephanie McMahon was involved with the love triangle, and Kurt kissed Stephanie. Remember, maybe many of you don't remember that, but if you do, there was that time where Kurt and Triple H were both heels chasing after Steph, and they kind of let the crowd decide who they were going to cheer for and who they weren't. That's, I think, what you do here. Let them decide. So now what happens? Or big surprises? Well, LA Knight returns, I think. That goes without saying. He'll have a spot where the Vision is dominating the Rumble, right? They come out and one person will, a babyface comes out and gets beat down, maybe like a Rey Mysterio gets in there, tries to level with the Vision and gets beat down, and they just keep getting thrown out and overwhelmed because the Vision is dominating. And then LA Knight comes out, or Brock Lesnar. That'd be a fun spot too. But the Vision with LA Knight, because he has vengeance on his mind, specifically with Bronson Reed. So LA Knight will be put in that spot, I think, in a kind of a big moment where the Vision can't just toss him because he's a big star, and he'll even the odds. So LA Knight will have a fun spot. Do I expect Chris Jericho? Absolutely. It's like the worst kept secret now. He may be number 30, but he's not going to win. Let's be clear about that. But he's going to come back. They've already trademarked Judas, by the way, so it's confirmed. I mean, if Chris Jericho's not a part of the Royal Rumble, it'd be really disappointing and shocking. So that'll be cool to hear his music again and see him back and what he can offer WWE, and maybe what kind of story they're going to tell moving into WrestleMania for him. He's not going to win the Rumble, okay? So anybody that thinks he's going to win, just take a breath, all right? No, he's not, even if he's number 30. So that'll be fun. You don't want Chris Jericho also out there too early in the matchup. You want him as kind of a surprise 30. He's a perfect 30 entrant. So who else? Beyond Brock Lesnar, beyond LA Knight, beyond Chris Jericho. Well, I mean, I guess if you want to go wild and say The Rock, I guess, there's like a less than 1% chance. I don't think there's any chance of The Rock. No Stone Cold, none of that. No Undertaker. I've heard people actually proposing that. No. So what other surprises? Again, Obafemi is not a surprise, but he's going to have a big impact in the Rumble. Him and Brock Lesnar would be a fun face-to-face. Brock Lesnar should have a fun Rumble, a few big moments. Again, maybe with the Vision, maybe with Obafemi, maybe with Gunther. Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, they're going to have some moments as well. I don't know who's going to eliminate who. I'm not even going to get into that level of detail. It's impossible to predict who's going to eliminate who. But I will say that the person who does eliminate Roman Reigns is probably going to be Roman Reigns' opponent. Same for Brock Lesnar, right? This is, for a lot of the big guys, this is their path to WrestleMania. Who eliminates them? And it should be. Like, this is where a lot of rivalries start going into WrestleMania. So, to me, I think that Brock Lesnar finds his opponent here. Roman Reigns finds his opponent here. Cody Rhodes finds his opponent here. And for now, I'd leave it there. Maybe even LA Knight. Those guys find their WrestleMania opponents in this match. And we're going to get the usual nonsense of, somebody who's eliminated from the Rumble comes back in and eliminates somebody else, which is just impossible, because if you're eliminated from the Rumble, even if you throw somebody over the top rope, it should just not count, because you're not a qualified contender. You don't count anymore. You're out, right? Like, it should not matter, but it does. And it's just ridiculous. And we'll have somebody who's not in there and a sore loser gets eliminated, some heel that's angry come in and eliminate a babyface, and it just makes no sense, but that's the Rumble, and they'll have that happen. So Jey Uso also hilariously put something out on, it might have been X, saying that he's going to win, don't be mad, or whatever. Could you imagine Jey Uso winning? I mean, think about that. There's a real opportunity here. There's a real opportunity to have a heel moment that no one saw coming with Jey Uso winning. They're not going to do it. I'm not even coming close to believing he could win. But imagine if they had Jey Uso win again. One of the biggest heel turns of the last couple of years, I think, would be Jey Uso winning. I think there'd be some people cheering, but the outrage online would be something that I'd pay a large chunk of change to see. So just a funny moment and fun to really think about, but not going to happen. So who are the favorites? Who are the favorites to win? I asked AI because AI has been just so great lately, but it does have some reasonable predictions here. If you're asking AI for the women, the favorite is actually Liv Morgan, followed by Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, and Tiffany Stratton. And that's possible with Liv Morgan. She doesn't seem to be in the right position yet, even though she had to give up her championship. She got injured, remember? I still don't feel she's in the right spot with a lot of, the machines doesn't seem to be behind her at the moment. Bianca Belair to me is a heavy favorite. So, but not according to AI. Rhea Ripley could come out of the tag team division and make a splash here, but it would feel very formulaic, kind of just very underwhelming if Rhea Ripley wins. It's just like, oh, okay, here we go. Rhea Ripley's back. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it does feel like somebody else needs the spotlight this year in a championship match. And Tiffany Stratton, kind of same thing. I know, her and Charlotte have had their issues in the past. Tiffany Stratton doesn't seem to be a realistic option at this point either. So I think it's Bianca, and it's not even close. So the men, who are they predicting? The odds-on favorite is Roman Reigns, followed closely by Braun Breaker, Sami Zayn, LA Knight, and Jacob Fatu. Okay, Sami Zayn is not going to win the Rumble. Let's just be clear about that, please. Yeah, I can't. I think Roman Reigns right now is a solid favorite. I said he could find his WrestleMania opponent here. Well, he will, obviously, if he wins the Rumble, because he could choose to face Drew McIntyre, which I think he probably would. They could go with Drew Roman. They very well could do that. But he may choose the World Championship against CM Punk. What about Roman Reigns, CM Punk? That seems fun too. There's a program that there's a lot of history there. So Roman Reigns and CM Punk, hey, that's very, very plausible. Braun Breaker winning. Do I think he's ready? In some respects, yes. In others, I feel like he has, he looks a little green. Not really with his promos. His promos have been one of his strong points because, to me, he is ahead of himself in where he should be promo-wise. I have really no issue there. There's always room for improvement, of course, but to me, it's in the ring where he gets a little too hyped up in big moments. And we saw that with CM Punk. He gets a little too hyped up, does some bad botches that are just dangerous, and he needs to calm down. Easier said than done. But you talk about athleticism that's on another world, of course. Yeah. And is he ready, though, for the main event? I don't think so. Like, main event of WrestleMania, you might be putting the cart before the horse here if you have Braun Breaker win, just because he's still relatively new on the scene here. I wouldn't lose it, my mind, and I'd be rooting for him. Obviously, if he won, I think it would be a sign that they're really going for youth right away here and not going to the tried and true formula of, okay, Roman Reigns wins. It's okay, fine. That would be a sign that they have way more confidence in Braun Breaker than we ever even thought. But Sami Zayn winning, no. LA Knight winning, nah, sorry, guys. LA Knight, he might be in the final 8, especially in the final 8, final 6 even, maybe even final 4. But LA Knight winning doesn't feel like it's happening here. Jacob Fatu, you got to be kidding me. How is this even? Jacob Fatu winning the Royal Rumble, it's akin to like the Brooklyn Brawler winning. And I don't mean Jacob Fatu's on the level of the Brooklyn Brawler, but I think that Jacob Fatu is, just look at his story the last couple of years. This doesn't seem to make sense. The fans aren't ready for that. Jacob Fatu is not a developed character enough to make it to the main event of WrestleMania this year. It just makes no sense. So I think Roman Reigns is a good favorite here. Definitely. Cody Rhodes, no. I just think you can't go there again. So Cody Rhodes, no. I think he needs a break. Roman Reigns, will this be Roman's third win? Maybe. So, that's my predictions here. Am I going to go with Roman Reigns? I mean, I guess sorry guys, it's a boring choice. I think Roman Reigns does win, and he faces CM Punk at WrestleMania. And then we've got Bianca Belair winning the Women's Royal Rumble, and then we have AJ Styles winning by disqualification against Gunther, and as I mentioned earlier, for the fourth match, Drew McIntyre beats Sami Zayn by low blow and a Claymore, or 2 Claymores. That's what I think. So there you go. There's my predictions. And if you'd like to join us on Patreon again, guys, good time. Patreon.com/WWE Podcast. If you want to go ad free. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. If you guys want to reach out to me, I'll be live during the Rumble on X. So follow me. It's the WWE Podcast on X. So check me out. I'm the verified one. There might be other WWE podcasts, but I'm the one that has the blue check mark. So that means I'm the more important one. Right. All right. So thanks, everybody. I'll be back as quick as I can with a Royal Rumble review. If I'm watching it live, I will definitely try to do a Royal Rumble review for Saturday night rather than waiting for Sunday night, because you want that instant reaction. I may even go live for those of you on Patreon. I think it's deserving of a live review, and check me out on Patreon. Again, that's the only place I'll go live is on Patreon. So there you go. Everybody, enjoy the Rumble. I know you're not particularly excited this year because of the lack of hype, and I understand why. But it should overall be, I think, a very good wrestling event, right? Like if you're looking at this from pure wrestling, especially AJ Gunther and even Drew and Sammy. And there'll be some performative stuff and mini storylines going on in the men's and women's Royal Rumble matches, which happens every year. Some nostalgic throwbacks, maybe even Booker T comes out of retirement, right? Some of those silly moments that are just fun, nostalgic takeaways. And you'll get that from both the women's and the men's, from, maybe an Attitude Era star. And, speaking of the Attitude Era, can't mention this, or can't mention the Rumble without this. 2K26 does, I think, officially get revealed, especially or whoever the cover star is. I know Triple H, the King of Kings, which I think is just horrific. There's a special edition King of Kings. It's I don't want to get into it, but the game itself is going to be revealed, and much more footage, and like a real promo for it. And again, I think the cover superstar is going to be revealed at the Royal Rumble. So with I think it's a early to mid-March release, as it is every year. And from what I've seen, the screenshots I've seen, it looks incredible. So if you're a gamer, especially a wrestling gamer, well, this could be a hell of a game. And those of you that are millennials like myself, this could be a nostalgic, best looking nostalgic game you've ever seen from a wrestling perspective. So yeah, if you're interested in that. All right, everybody, thank you so much. I'll be back as soon as I can after the Royal Rumble. Follow me on X if you want some live feedback, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.